Hello everyone, Rysair here with another video for you. This week we've got gameplay of my budget Fire Mordred deck that I showcased earlier this week. Before we jump into it, I did make one change that you'll see in the deck from Tuesday, and that's I added Pyretic Prognosis, which is a draw 3, discard 2 Exalted Fire card that serves really well once you're level 3. It lets you dump 2 attacks or floats into your graveyard, so you can pay for Rungomians really easily. And I added one additional copy of Clean Cut. That card's just really good. If you're interested in more gameplay and deck techs like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Put out weekly deck techs and gameplay videos to follow. So if you are so inclined, please go ahead and hit all the buttons and drop a comment below. Also, this is locals, so we are, trying to get better, making plays that aren't always the most optimal to explore lines and play with one another. So if you are going to make comments, we do appreciate it, but please keep that in mind as we are definitely not playing perfectly. I addressed this last week, but there is a bit of a shaky cam issue at this locals. It's far better this week than it was last week. I've become a lot more conscious of it, but I've also procured equipment to more securely mount my phone so that it's not tied to the table. It's not an arm on the table, but it'll instead be securely on the ground for future videos. So expect that to get better too in future videos. So yeah, I think without further ado, probably best to get right into the gameplay. All right, welcome everybody to the commentary and the gameplay for my budget Fire Mordred deck. This game is a post-side game, so we'll have the water bauble in my material deck, and I have one extra flame sweep in the main. But otherwise, the deck is pretty much what you would see. Off to a pretty quick start here, just going Gentle Respite into Lorraine. Gentle Respite, a pretty good turn 1 play, not great after that. I don't love Gentle Respite in this deck, but I think it's a great budget option to maintain card advantage as you level up, which is what you definitely want to be doing with this deck. So looking at my hand, I have some of the attacks. I have Regulus Blitz in there, and Hasty Messenger to discard them. Nothing that's afloat right now, so I am going to have to lay 2 cards to attempt to level into Mordred. But what I noticed, we played a few games this evening. I just selected one of them. What I noticed is you really want to get to Mordred 2 as quickly as possible. Then you can really start to materialize your Value Regalia and things like that. Opponent's going to Angelic Channeling for 3 big Neos cards. One Angelic Channeling about the cost of this deck. We were joking about that a little bit, which is pretty funny. Big man Tonoris coming out, pulling out that taunt. Making fun of me and all that. We aren't too bothered by that. This deck doesn't really want to build a board, so Tonoris' taunt doesn't do a whole lot. And as you can see here, we're going right into the Mordred 2. Morge Simpson has arrived. We have Regulus Blitz in the grave, discarded from the Hasty Messenger, so we can use that to materialize a Drawn Blade or a Smoke Bomb or something of value next turn. Hasty Messenger going to continue to get that value. Notably, I do discard a Flame Sweep here, and that was probably a mistake. Flame Sweep is really strong in this deck. You can get Flame Sweep to come in for a lot of damage, either by leveling into your Luxem level 3, which is +3, so a Flame Sweep for 5 without a weapon, or just by using Rungomians, which can be a 6 base power weapon. Even as a 2 base power weapon, it's a sweep for 4. So it's pretty good. Feeling pretty comfy here. We got nothing too great in hand. Verukin is in hand. Opponent's going to fracturize their power cell. So pretty standard start from the opponent. Not a lot of pressure. I figure we have time to accrue influence. My plan here is to Creative Shock and discard one of these attack cards. So opponent is going to just pass again. Pretty, I guess, non-aggressive hand from the opponent. And I'm going to materialize the Water Bauble for my redraw here. Could have also materialized Dummy Trainer. Dummy Trainer as an option. But what I want to do is I want to use the Regulus Blitz and the Flame Sweep and one more attack that I'm going to discard to this Creative Shock to level up into level 3, basically for free. Can even discard an attack with this Hasty Messenger. Looks like that's what I'm going to do. Dev Blow. Come into the grave, draw a card. until you're level 3, you don't really want to start attacking. There's maybe a couple attacks that are worth throwing. Yeah, feeling pretty comfy with this hand. Looking like it'll probably be a pass. I can Creative Shock and then Pyretic Prognosis. Prognosis negative on the prereq. Another Channeling. Getting money mogged by my opponent. 2 go into Memory. I see Iron Halo there. Very scary card is Iron Halo, because we can do 1 big instance of damage, but a lot of times that relies on doubling of Rending Flames or like a big attack that cracks in a couple times. And Iron Halo really puts a stink on that. So Tonoris, level 2, gonna come down, and it looks like it's just gonna be a pass back again. If I'm reading the situation right. No. It is, my opponent is going to do something. And I think here is where we get to see the new Proxia's Tonoris card. So we get a little bonus sighting here. I think he is going to go into the new Reciprocity. It will cost 6. But just looking at the situation, right? Like normally in a Tonoris deck, you've got that +3 attack. Here you can kind of use that +3 attack to clear my Hasty Messenger, because the normal Reciprocity wouldn't do that. I mean, you wouldn't even be running the old Reciprocity, right? And I mean, I guess in theory, you don't need it to be the +3, because what you could do, even if you didn't have the +3 here, is you could play the Reciprocity, swing into the Hasty for 1 with it, and then rest it to make a 1/1, and then finish off the Hasty. But in any case, this is what he's doing. He's belaboring over the choices, as we do in card games. It's hard to know, what to lay down here. But incoming Reciprocity, Dormegia's Call. If Dormegia Call, are you picking up? So we've got 2 durability. So I love the design here, that it's 2 durability. You get 1 swing. Here it's for 4, which, if this ally were more threatening than Hasty, this would be even more value. But Hasty is getting me a lot of value. If Hasty doesn't die here, I get even more value, right? I can start ephemerating my attacks, so they all become effective +1s as they get discarded to Hasty. And then you can rest the call to make a 1/1. It says up to 1 upkeep trigger, so you don't have to have an upkeep trigger to target with that. Creative Shock coming in for me, drawing. I notice I draw a Gentle here, so that's a better float than an attack. If you can use your cards that are generic floats before you use your attack-enabled floats, you get access to those attacks as ephemeral attacks. So better to use the Gentle here. The other argument would be once you get to Luxem, having the generic floats in grave is better because you lose that ephemerate. But yeah, we're going to go 3 for Prognosis negative here. Holding the Shieldmate, same idea, right? I kind of want to discard the Shieldmate before I discard my attacks so that I can use my attacks twice. And I want to hold on to that Luminous Slash. In this version of the deck, in the budget version of the deck, that is the only Luxem card, so that's the only way to unlock. Like, when you go to Luxem, you want an exit plan to get back down to Exalted level 3, because if you don't, you lose out on all that floating memory value and all that, ephemerate value. So Clean Cut, absolutely love Clean Cut in this deck. Much value can be gained from it. So it can be either cast twice to kill off 2 allies and draw a card for each one, or it can be cast once and then used as a floating memory. Super good, right? It's just really good. So taking my time here. I do have Verucan, which could destroy Dormegia's Call if I wanted to be mean, but being frank at locals, being Rysair, but being honest, at locals, I wanted to let him, play with the new toy. It is just a 1/1 every turn, and I have a Clean Cut in the yard, so him making a 1/1 might actually, help me get another card off of that Clean Cut if I don't want to make a redraw out of my float. And my graveyard is stacked with float right now, so I'm feeling really good. Also, another line to think about here is keeping the Verucan in case he did happen to run Censor in his Angelic Channeling Storm of Thorns Fracturized deck, right? Like, it's pretty unlikely. He told me after the game that he does keep Censor in the side, but decided not to bring it in. He figured, even though I can get a lot of float and ephemerate value, he also just wants that value. He kind of just wants to race to his late game. His late game has a lot of things that deal with my late game, which is true. Iron Halo going on the bottom there. You know, pretty surprising. I don't know if that means he has another one. I don't know if that means he doesn't think it's that good, but it's extraordinarily good. It is easy for me to remove, I guess, but it does make me waste an attack, which never feels good. Yeah, I'm looking at my hand here. I think it's just going to be dev blow after dev blow after dev blow based on the construction of my hand. You know, a real flurry of blows is about to come. I think, yeah, it looks like he's thinking really hard about where to put these other three, which to me, you know, I want to, when someone angelic channelings and puts on top, you really want to think like what order they're coming in, but also to know like Atmos Armor Ares is coming, as well as a Fractal Duplication. A lot of really scary stuff there. Genesis Aegis will trigger and get the Obelisk of Fabrication. Want to make up something. We're going to make a guy here. The Twitter Obelisk, where you make up a guy. So it's going to be a 2/2 coming in on the prereq. Does cost 5 because the Obelisk counts for itself. And so now my opponent has a stream of 2/2s coming from the Obelisk and a stream of 1/1s coming from Reciprocity. That's actually quite strong. Given that a lot of the cards in the Tonoris deck care about your quantity of tokens, not necessarily your quality of tokens. So yeah, I think it's I think this card's actually pretty good in its revised form. I don't think it's an every Tonoris kind of card, but I think it absolutely warrants a slot, especially my opponent's on a couple domains, right? So it actually could get cheaper. 2 coming at me and then 1. I think that puts me to 4. Iron Halo is going to be an issue here, though, so I can't ephemerate this clean cut and kill either of these objects now. Iron Halo Force Field Node is protecting against... It protects all your units, not just your Neos units, so pretty good. So I'm going to dig for what I probably want is a Flame Sweep here. I used it to level up earlier, so I don't have that Flame Sweep in the yard. Flame Sweep would go so hard here. Lost Providence coming out. Always remember your Lost Providence, folks. But I got a million cards in hand here. I think it's really just how do I destroy this Iron Halo on this turn. And then looking at future turns, I've got a lot of play. I've got the ability to level up into Luxum and maybe Luminous Slash. I've got the ability to, if I draw a Regulus Blitz, I can really go off. But it's going to be Dev Blow, and I'm sure I'm sending this at the domain, because you just have to get that off the board. This is essentially for free, though, right? He does Song of Frost it. It does... But it does get the Song of Frost out of his hand, and I didn't spend a card. I just ephemerated that Dev Blow, which feels pretty good. Notably, it will still go to Banish, because it enters the intent as ephemeral. When you ephemerate it, it would be so sick if it went back to Graveyard if you Song of Frosted it. But now it's time for... I gotta clear this. So, double Verucan Acolyte. I'm not going to use my local's nickname for her. It's not like bad. It's just it's so corny. So we're gonna blow up both of the Reciprocity and the Lost Prov as recompense for my opponent bullying me and Song of Frosting my Dev Blow. It would have been great if the Dev Blow went through, because then I could have used these 2 Verucans to clear the tokens, and then they may have survived. So that actually gives, you know, that would actually be way better. Obelisk of Protection. NordVPN Obelisk coming in. Not sponsored. And it's going to just be a clearing of the Acolytes. Terrafring is a bit of a pain. This deck wants to attack multiple times in one turn on its big turn. So Terrafring is actually kind of a pain in the butt. And I think based on what my opponent channelinged onto the top, it's almost certainly an Atmos Armor Ares here. The God of War. So we're going to have... no disrespect to Kratos, also. So I think it's going to be Ares here. Coming down... in a hasty fashion. Got the altar art on that too. Heck yeah. Love that altar art on Ares. Shields. Shields are very difficult to deal with. I do have a pseudo plan to deal with the shields. You know, it's not great, but if I can clear one of the shields, then I can smoke bomb the other one, and it's not a legal redirect target as long as I'm not using my Sword of Seeking. So yeah, immediately I think of making smoke bomb here. It'll also redraw me a card. But I'm changing my mind. I'm just gonna go for my own Terrafring. My opponent has too many cards in hand for me to try to clear things here. And since I'm crashing into his Terrafring, which gets activated there, I don't think it's a good idea. I'm scared of commitment. I'm scared of the Terrafring here. So I'm just gonna make my own. Hopefully my opponent won't get too much damage in on me, and I'll be able to take a turn off here with just Library Witch. Cremate, you know, we burn the Witch. Since I am Mordred Exalted level 3, I don't really have to care about what I'm laying down. I want to be a little careful in case, you know, if I have to make like Rangomiant next turn and I don't have 2 floats in yard, I want to be a little careful about what I'm laying down. That's why I'm holding the Dauntless in hand. But otherwise, it largely doesn't matter what you lay down. So I'm going to be going into the next turn with a ton of cards. What's that? 3, 6, 11, 12, and maybe a redraw. So potential combo kill turn, especially if I can find a Flame Sweep to clear those Atmos shields. But if not, I can just try to clear the shields on the next turn and then go in for the kill on the following turn. I think my opponent is also still under 8 influence. And Rangomiant says, you know, they need 8 or more influence for it to get its buff. You must have 8 or more influence to use this card. Wayfinder's Map. Getting that 3rd domain through Tonoris, Wayfinder's Map. Just kind of serving as a GCR. Obelisk of Armaments. Then I think it's probably just an activate. Okay, activating the Fabrication for 3. Just maximizing your reserve here. With 3 in hand, that seems like the most reasonable one to do. And the stickiest, I guess, that'll stay on board and really do the most. Notably here, like, protection only costs 1 now, too. It's really hard for this Mordred deck, especially the budget version, versus something with a lot of defensive cards in it. But I think this game still showcases what this is able to do. The other game that I recorded was not terribly close, unfortunately, and not how you might expect. I just rendinged for 24 on like turn 5. So this deck can absolutely get there. It's just I decided that this one might be a little more engaging, even though I am getting walled out by all these Neos cards. Fractal of Duplication coming down. Opponent just gonna do similarly and take the turn off on my Terrafring turn, which in some ways is kind of what I wanted. I was hoping he would lay the cards down, hoping he would you know, open up his defenses a little bit. But this also kind of tells me that maybe he is holding something defensive and I should not commit as hard. Looking to lay 3 here. So what I want to do, if possible, if uninhibited, is Dauntless into an Atmos shield and then smoke bomb the other one, and then I have the ability to attack his champion. Unfortunately, I don't know if I could get lethal out of this. It may seem like there's no way Mordred would ever have lethal here, but it's definitely possible. Maybe not without Rongo, but it's definitely possible. I was going to go to Clean Cut as my means of killing the one shield there, but I realized he has the Obelisk of Protection and the Fractal to tap for it, so not ideal. Not feeling great here, but, you know, I have options. So it's going to be Dauntless into the shield. We have to go for something that's at least 4 to clear the shield. And so Dauntless naked is 4. Could have maybe... I don't think anything... I guess Storm of Thorns plus Obelisk of Protection would be an issue here, but I think he's only 2 in hand, so I don't think that's possible. It is possible, excuse me. He could crack the Wayfinder's Map to make that possible. But it's not there, so Mordred will restand. And then, same thing though. I have to swing at least 4 at this other shield. So this is going to be likely just an Ephemerate of the Dauntless. Costs a lot of reserve here, but it was only 1 card spent to deal with both shields. That's pretty good. I think it's kind of hard to not do that. But it is going to be prevent 2 with the Obelisk. He's still going to take 2 at current. and then crack the map. So maybe this is Storm of Thorns. It is pay 2 for diffusive block. Denied. Okay, so it's still, it takes 0 damage. That's 4 prevention. Dauntless is ephemeral, so it'll go away. And then here I can now clean cut it. But I spent my whole turn dealing with these shields. I don't think that's too bad though. Like, unless I'm dying here, which is also totally possible. I play a Stalwart Shield Mate. So unless I'm dying here, he needs to do 21 to me. Unless I'm dying here, I think I'm okay to spend the whole turn dealing with these shields, because now coming back to my turn, I have a pretty big possible turn. I would have to draw a Regulus Blitz or another Dauntless to really get in, but I can materialize Rongo. If he kills the Stalwart, I'll have 2 floats, so I can materialize Rongo, and then I can go let me see what's in my hand. If I could draw a Dauntless, it's like 30 damage. Otherwise, I might only be able to Dev Blow once. But Flame Sweep also becomes a really good draw. So it keeps me alive. I think I'm in an okay spot here. Unfortunately, my opponent materializes Archon Broadsword, the wide guy. And Fractal Duplication copies are tokens. So that's 3 tokens Fractal Duplication. The Power Cell, while fracturized, is still a token. 3 domain tokens, 4 drone tokens, 55 burgers, 55 fries, 55 tokens. That thing is hitting for like 14, I think. Hold on, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 plus 2. It's hitting for 13. Thank you, Stalwart Shield Mate. Though he can just... Oh, he can just do that too. Blade of Creation, bringing destruction onto my entire board. This is a cleave for 17. 4 from the blade, 13 from the sword. And then with the allies behind, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. I Smoke Bomb, maybe able to draw a Resolute here. And a Resolute would keep me alive, but unfortunately I don't. And that's GG. Okay, so we're back with the deck, and I want to give a little review at the end, talk about some cards that did good and did poorly. Didn't win the game on stream, but we went back and forth a few times, and it definitely has the possibility to win. So cards that were impressive. This is the non-budget version of the deck as well. If you want to check out the budget version, feel free, but this is the non-budget version. Cards that perform well. Clean Cut was incredibly good. Once you're Mordred level 2, there's a ton of value in this card. Also, Rending Flames is easily the MVP of the deck. With Rongomiant plus 4, you're at 6 base, plus 3 is 9, double to 18. If you level to Mordred Aurelian Regent in the same turn, you get another plus 3. So there's a lot of damage to be had with Rongomiant plus Rending Flames. That's a really good way to win the game. And then Flame Sweep. Flame Sweep is also just unsurprisingly matchup dependent, but just a very strong card. So I upped my copies of Flame Sweep. I took some of the starter cards out, like Warrior to the Fey Realms is out, and some of the weaker attacks are out, so we can focus on getting more value. I brought in Liminal Guide. I brought in the Excalibur Cleansing Light, of course, very strong. One thing with the budget version that, you know, is hard is Luminescent Slash is the only Luxem card that's in the precon. So you're not going to get off of your Luxem Mordred with cards like Excalibur, and I'm including a 1-of Luxem site. You're never going to reveal your memory, but this is a 0-cost redraw that gets you off of your level 3. Lets you get back to your Exalted level 3, which is where you want to spend most of your time. You really only want to level up into this to get back down into your other level 3. And so this new version of the deck creates lines that are like, you know, prereq, or for your materialization, level up into level 3, then prereq either Excalibur or Luxem Sight, go back down into level 3. In your main phase, Dungeon Guide back up to level 3. You now have 2 on enter floating effects for your next attack, so your next attack will get +6 and recover you for 6. And then Rending Flames with Rongo is doing like literally 30 damage. It's absurd. You know, the Excalibur is obviously going to be really good. A lot of the other cards, I upped a count of Varukin. We definitely want to be able to deal with Censor, and everything else is pretty close to the same. We are putting a Divine Relic in. You could go Lost Providence as well if you want, but I wanted to go Looking Glass with Inert to make my Flame Sweeps more potent and my Clean Cuts a little bit better once I'm level 2. Backup Charger in there, keeping Dummy Trainer, because again, it works with Clean Cut, it's pretty good. And then Return to the Archive instead of Gentle Respite as our generic +1 float, because it's a lot easier to use with the Looking Glass. So most of the deck is pretty much the same. I expanded on the side a little bit. Optical Control, I think, is also pretty good in a deck like this. It levels you back down from Luxem, it eventually replaces itself, and it lets you have a big turn where you can call action with it and get your attacks through. So yeah, really happy with how not just the budget version of the deck, but Fire Mordred in general has come to turn out, and I encourage you to try it yourself. Thanks so much for watching. If you like the gameplay and you'd like the deck information that I provide, I do weekly deck techs on the channel and gameplay followed up with them, so drop a like and subscribe if you're so inclined. And that's going to do it for this week's video. Thank you so much. As always, I've been Rysair. Be good to one another. Play Grand Archive. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.